Hey everyone, it's Jamie from Independent Street Tarot and Seasons and Ritual, and I'm here to talk about Pluto retrograde, which stationed retrograde on the 2nd. And I have to tell you, I feel bad because I didn't keep up with this. Like now I'm like, um, and so as someone who uses astrology to help people, I feel a little in my heart because I wasn't on top of this. Especially with all my sweet Scorpios and even a few Aquarians that have been coming in, um, saying they've been feeling just ugh in the past few days. And now I'm like, oh, no shit, because Pluto was getting ready to station retrograde. So, even on Thursday, I was talking to my friend up the street and she was just like, God, I just feel so off. And I was like, by any chance, are you a Scorpio? And she was like, oh my God, yes. And even then, that would have been the greatest time to like pull something up. So the good news is Pluto is now retrograde. Okay. So when these planets station in turn, whether it's retrograde or going back, we can feel that, right? And especially when it's Pluto. So Scorpio, breathe a sigh of relief. You know, Aquarians, Pluto's in your sign. If you guys were feeling stuck, I know I'm an Aquarian, and the past week I was just like, waiting, not waiting, but like it was like, okay, it's time for things to turn. It's time for things to keep moving. It wasn't like a feeling of stuckness, but it was more like a feeling of, okay, things are getting ready to keep moving. So on that note, two things. I put it in my calendar that it will turn station direct on October 11th. So this won't sneak up on me again. Um, and the second thing is, what does this mean? Pluto, death, resurrection, transformation. It's now going back into Capricorn, and then it'll station and come back into Aquarius to be there for the next 20 years. So the way that I look at this is that Pluto has come into Aquarius. It's shown us a whole bunch of new things. It's shown us new ways to think about things. It's brought things to the light, as it always does. But it's also given us a chance to speak about things differently, think about things differently, ask for more in a good way, ask for new ways to talk about old things, right? Which I always say a lot of times when it comes to Aquarius, because it is the revolution, it is the rebellion, it is the cosmos. It's this new energy coming in that is from the depths of space, right? And so all this new energy, right? We keep talking about streaming on the planet, streaming on the planet. And so Pluto came into Aquarius. It started, it dipped itself in, went back, and then it dipped itself went in and went back. Now it's going back. And so it keeps bringing in like these new ideas like, okay, you guys don't have to keep doing it that way. Capricorn is the sign of work. So it's like, you guys don't have to keep working that way. There's smarter ways to work. There are new ways to work. Even if, everyone always says AI comes in or whatever. So whatever. That's another video for another time. Um, Going to work. So we've seen with Pluto coming into Aquarius the rise of unions, right? And so this idea that now it's retrograding doesn't mean the unions are going to end, right? To me, the way that I read this, it's like we get a bunch of knowledge, and then we get to bring it back to maybe who needs it. We get to bring it back to ourselves so we can heal more things, right? That's that healing. That's that transmuting of Pluto. That's that resurrecting, new ideas, new ways to be, new ways to explain who we are now, right? Um, but also seeing ourselves differently and how we work differently and how we can work differently moving forward. It's not this idea that, like, hold on, we're going backwards, like Rose and Jack in the Titanic, up and down, up and down. The reason I say that is because I watched that rock star video where the dog floats away and he's like, save me, Rose, in the pool. It's gets me every time. The idea is that for me is that we've gained this knowledge. So when these things come up again, we get to say, no, I'm smarter than that now. I'm not doing it that way. I'm moving on with my life. Actually, this is the way that I work now. All these things. So, well, Scorpio and Aquarius might have had a rough, rocky week. Just know that it's not doomsday. I know it's really popular for anyone, not just astrologers, to bring up, oh, this is going to be so bad. Not necessarily, right? It's all how we decide how we want to see things, speak about things, hold energy, hold space for things, right? This is making sense now why that crone energy is coming up so strong. Which I'm going to do a video on that probably after this one, so I'll probably be wearing this exact same outfit. Because it is this idea of, the thing that keeps coming in with this is like how we work, right? And it's important to know like we work in different stages at different areas in our lives, throughout our lives, right? And how do we want to use that moving forward, right? Even though Pluto is moving backwards, right? It's going back to me to heal things, right? To do things differently. It's not going back to torture us. Um, it's like if you went to college and you go back to your hometown, right? And maybe you for the summer teach a course at the high school or the community college or something. So you get to bring in this new knowledge, and some people are going to take it and think differently and be like, oh, wow, thanks for that. And then you move on and keep going with your life. In the people in the town, like they're either gonna like change things around or they're not, but it's okay, right? You get to decide if you're gonna stay in the town or you feel like, okay, I brought this knowledge, it's doing what it needs to do, I'm going to keep moving forward. That to me is the biggest message here with Pluto going retrograde. And it's going to be there for 5 months. The number 5 in numerology is change and grace. So yes, there's going to be a lot of change. But if we can think about all the good that this change could bring in, yes, there's going to be protests, yes, there's going to be, things coming up because that's just how the world is right now, right? And so we can either say we're going to hell in a handbasket, or we can say, oh, good, the revolution's finally fucking here, and I'm going to do what I can to keep people calm, remind people of their own personal power, remind people that things are transmuting, remind people that we have a choice on how we want to join in or not join in. And there's many levels of that, right? Especially at different stages of our life, which we'll talk about in the crone video. And so I'm sorry that I did not get on top of this with Aquarians and Scorpios, because we did that video about a month ago with Scorpio, really feeling things. And the idea is that Scorpio, you're not going to revert back. It is, okay, you kind of went through this huge transformation, which is what your sign does. And now we're going back into Capricorn. So now that you've changed, now that you have these new ideas, how are you going to bring that spirit and energy of transformation back into Capricorn, right? To help make things easier, right? If that's what people want, how to make things more fair, more loving, more abundant, all these things that we ask for, right? So Scorpios, I hope you're feeling a little bit of relief. It just stationed retrograde, so maybe the next 24 hours might be a little blue, but same with Aquarians. And I will tell you this, Aquarius, even with me, like things were coming up, nothing like major, but I keep coming, like I have a choice. Like, do I want to believe some old stories, or do I just want to focus myself and move forward in new energy? And this is a message for everybody, not just Aquarians, and it's important for us to focus and keep moving forward in new energy, like what do we want to focus our attention on? Do we want to focus our attention on old stories that maybe we just don't have time for? And you can feel it in your body. You're gonna be like, I just don't have time to think about in the morning. I don't have time for that person, and not like a wah thing. It's just like, I just don't have time for it. Like, I know what I want to do on this earth. This is what I want to focus on moving forward, right? Keep that energy. moving forward. So if old things come up, right, which it might, especially when it comes to like working and those kinds of things, you get to ask yourself, well, I don't, do I want to like get stuck in that mire, or do I just want to keep moving forward? And it's okay to keep moving forward. That's kind of the point to me of this Pluto retrograde and going back over those points that we've already visited twice now, actually. So this will be the third time that we get to go back. It's like really, really going back and doing that clean sweep like we talk about. So I hope this helps you guys. You know, we can see the protests, we can see the civil unrest, right? But it's also the time to think about, how are we as humans? What do we know? How can we communicate? Um, how can we be together still in community, right? And help move things forward. If Pluto's going back and it's showing some places that need to be transmuted and reborn and rebirth, well, let's do it. Let's do it. Let's take that challenge and say, we can do this. We can do this together. And we can respect um, what works for us, right? What works for us as a person, and we can respect boundaries, right? And we can respect different ways of working to get us to the same community agreement. That makes sense, right? And then also as an individual, if you're still going over the way you work or how you want to move forward, know that you have new skills, you've seen new things, or find out new skills to go back and make life easier, if that happens to be the case. But always know you have your own free will and how you want to move forward, okay? You get to choose what you want to focus on in order to move forward, okay? No one else has that ability to take that away from you, okay? So, I've got to work on that too. I work on that too myself. Like, what is it that I want to work on today? What is it that I want to think about today? What is it that I want to consciously have in my energy today, when I'm working on anything, quite honestly. And so how I move about my day then is more intentional, instead of just checking out and wondering why nothing changes, right? Pluto and Aquarius going retrograde. You guys be more intentional. Be more intentional about where you're putting your energy and what you want to transform and what you want to transmute, okay? It's just where we are in the world. I would say all good things, but I know you guys would be like, no, Jamie, but what can I say? I'm an optimist. So that's where we're at. Okay. I'm going to end this video and upload this today, and then I'll probably upload the crone video tomorrow. So if you guys have any questions or anything, just reach out in the comments below, and happy Pluto retrograde.